Okay, it says I'm live. It's gonna be a second here. Okay. More or less of an angle. Let's go this way. Okay. Okay, I'm about ready to start recording. I wanted to come out and see what I'm looking at here. This is the fan. Here we go. You need to zoom forward if you want to see all that's going on. Very good. Put this around so I should be able to see it. Can I see it? Yes, but it's upside down. If I go a little farther, what happens? There we go. I think that's a little better. Let's see. Here, 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 here. Okay. I'm going to try and leave that like so. It's 5 in the morning, 5 something, 15, 20. I can't tell. Go hit the phone. I woke up at midnight, couldn't get at 5:31. Okay. Let's see. Start recording here. That's recording. You're recording. You're live. This is recording. I got a camera set right here, focusing down. That'll be the video. I'm learning new things today. But be that as it may, what we have here is a rework of a spindle. Out of my John Deere mower deck. This is a portion that's up high with a pulley on it. This is the part that's down low with the blade. Okay, edit. This are the blades, and if you take a look, you should be able to see that there's like 7 or 8 teeth that fit into here, okay, that hold it on as it spins. And if you're interested in the part number, there it is down right there and right there. Okay, I bought 3 sets of these. One's already installed on the current deck, and 2 more when the time comes. Just leave me the time that comes. These spindles have a grease fitting, a Zerk fitting that is totally useless, absolutely useless. This is one that was filled with grease, and it failed, and things break, granted, but I pulled the guts of the unit out, and in essence, this is the part of the is the spindle and assembly is a whole. Make sure I'm seeing that. Yeah, you're seeing all of it, except I ought to do it like this. And you have the cap that's on the end, the parts that's on the bottom, 2 bearings, and a shaft that holds it into place. This is the correct orientation. But I'm going to flip this around for just discussion point. But when this is assembled, this is all housed in here. The cap is not. It's reversed the other way, and they push against the bearings. If you take a look, in fact, let me do it this way. Okay, this is the way it sits, but you got to compress it. Removing this out, you have a bearing that's on the high side, and this is one that I actually pulled out. You'll note that it has a cover on both sides, so no grease is going to get into the bearings. And you ask, well, what does a bearing look like after it's run a while? I'm going to show you. This is the shaft and the next bearing that sits on the outside. If you take a look right here, you'll see there's a ridge, and that's where the part of the bearing basically sits to spin. Okay, let's get this back together. This would be the way that I'm going to install it back into here. Now, here's a picture of a good one. Basically, you can see the rise there, and everything is fine. If you look at this one I'm calling bad and destroyed, you can see where the bearing started to seize up, and it got that white part. And you can look down there, right where my left finger is pointing, and you can see where the bearing is giving way, and this one made a sound like there was no tomorrow. But so much so, I told him to drive it to failure, and grandnephew decided to stop because it was my brother-in-law. It was making too much noise. So I guess they were scared, which is fine. I appreciate that. So I brought the whole deck back. Matter of fact, I have another video on that with the deck repair right there, that yellow thing. So I took care of that. Okay, so the bearings, there's three types of bearings. And when I wrote this, okay, you have the ones that come with the unit originally. And these are covered on both sides and basically cheap. They're made from China. I talked with the Napa store. He said they had some Japanese ones, and that's this. And you can tell the fit is tighter, and these are ball bearings. This is a ball bearing. You should be able to see the balls there. This is a Japanese ball bearing, higher quality supposedly, and it does feel better. And then another one I'm going to test. This is a roller bearing, and it has pins. And the problem I left in the bag, you can see that the bearing will kind of just pretty much pop out. So when I install it, I'm going to need to make sure that I put it in correctly. And you can see here that this has space for grease to go around. And it's also open on both sides. So it's designed to be greased. There's no grease on it at the moment. And they have pins that kind of look like my finger here that goes around. So this was expensive. That's why I only got one. And I wanted to make sure before, if I upgrade them, I'll try and get more of these, but I got to buy them at a cheaper price. These were not too terribly expensive. They're about the same price if you get a bunch of them on Amazon. Okay, this is again the ones I'm going to install one of these, and the rest of them are going to be the higher end ball bearings. These have a cap, and I remove the cap so they'll get grease when they're sitting in the fittings, and I'll show you that in a second. And this is one of the ones I pulled out of the cheap, I'm going to say cheap, I don't know, less expensive ball bearings, and you can see it has a different type of grease, and that's basically it. Other than you can feel it's kind of more loose. And these indeed are the cap ends, and that's a new one. And this most likely will end up going over here with this bearing, because this is going to go on the bottom where most of the force is. Because this unit is sitting there and bolted in and it's spinning around. The blade is what's going to hit the rocks and everything else. So it's going to basically have get smashed around. which is why on the one that failed over here, you can see it's on the bottom, because this stuff loosens. Okay, now, of course this is exaggerated, but that's kind of what's happening. This end gets the brunt of the force. Let me go put this so I don't confuse myself in the trash can, so it ends up going on the steel pile. Okay, so I guess the next thing, or these come this way. So using a razor blade, which is over there, just, let me go show it. A carpet knife. A knife, you fish down in there and these come out. This is the one off this unit here, the Japanese one. And this is the old unit. And let me demonstrate what I'm going to do. I guess this is going to come off. Here is the one bearing, two bearings, and not two bearings. This is the rod. What I'm going to do is to install, it'll just be these, but for like demonstration, install this bearing like this pin back on, and you can see that how that it basically it fits. And then the other side will be this one, okay, except it'll all be that one. And you see how that is covered. And on the other side, the way it's oriented, the ball bearings will have access to grease. So when I fill this up, it actually comes out and will push up against there, push down against there. With the Zerk fitting that I'm going to, well, actually clean it there, but anyway, it'll fill up, and this will be filled with basically grease and work and be lubricated. You're going to have to remember to do that every so often, but that's the goal. And I would think the intended design, if someone built this, but for a couple of reasons, basically so it'll fail, or cheapness, that they just drove these in with just a regular bearing. This is designed, let me say, it will fail over time. You can continue to grease things, it will probably last longer. And that's my assumption, but I think it is a reasonable one. Okay, so I guess that's basically it. I'm going to assemble and compress these like this and then put in grease. And then next year, or when the next set fails, I'm going to install them. I'm going to write on the ones I'm rebuilding which ones are which. Because this one here is going to be sitting on the bottom. The ones with the rods on one of them, I'll identify it. And then the other two, which will be using the Japanese, the better ones, and those I'll use later somewhere else on something. But that is it. So let's see, I don't know how much editing I'm going to have to do with this. Probably not a whole lot. I was testing out my live circuit as well here, or whatever it's called, YouTube Live. See how well that works. Backing this up. There we go. All right, well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. We talked about the different types of bearings, the rollers, and then the two different quality, for lack of a better word, or precision of the standard ball bearings, removing the covers so grease will go in there. And of course, you need to remember once you're done to fill all these up with grease, because this thing spins up and heats. That grease will come off the top there. So you do have to maintain it once you do this. In other words, with a certain frequency that you use the deck, I'm certain someone would say every day, but we'll see how it goes. I'll let you know too once I got new cheap ones in the mower now, so we'll see how long that lasts. Usually they go a year, maybe two. So with that, I hope the light good enough. Let me, okay, extra time video here. This is the used one and how it looked with the grease after so long. This is running at the same time as one failed. Let me pop this off so you can look at the different types of color. This is the ball bearing of the Japanese unit. This is the ball bearing and the grease on the less expensive one. And these are the pins. And I know someone, I don't know if you're going to complain. That's it. I may do, no, I won't. This is the other one with the roller pins on it that I'm going to mount in the center of the next decks that I have and do. When that will be, I don't know. I'm going to bring 1 or 2 more mowers back from the farm. It's a lot easier to work on things in a nice environment. All right, that being said, thank you. I'm going to try and edit this, get it out, go to the grocery store at 7 for my Sunday buying of things. Anyway, thanks. And now the live video is still going. Look, it's incredible. Yes, okay. All right, so that's it. Yeah, that'll come straight out. Okay. Thank you. If you watched it on here, I don't think anyone's watching this. Who would be up at 5 o'clock on a Sunday morning? No one with sense anyway. All right. Thanks.